Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? How is that gratitude going? Hi, this is Getting It Done with Gratitude, and we are here, your hostess, Shelly Ann Barron Edwards, and myself, Karen Williams Thompson. And guess what, guys? We are bracing here in Barbados for Tropical Storm Brett. And the winds are already picking up, and everyone is busy, and I am on the outside. So I'm telling you early, in case you hear any noise, that's just people whizzing by, getting their final things sorted out. So great to be here. Thank you for those of you who have been following us, those of you who've been commenting and sharing. We can't express to you how much we really, really appreciate your support and encouragement because it does take a lot. And I'm sure that Shelley will agree. It takes a lot, to make sure that we get up here every Thursday and be ready to just go live. But we are so committed to this because we really want to demonstrate that we can get it done with gratitude. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, catching us on the replay for the first time, as I said, my name is Karen Williams Thompson. I'm a life and business strategist. And what I do is I help women get super, super clear on what is it they really want, why they want it, identify what's got them stuck, and help them to really create the most intentional and awesome plan so that they can achieve the goals to have the life of freedom of time and freedom to do and to build the legacy that they really want to do. And my co host, Shelly Ann, is going to tell you all about how she gets it done by helping others apply gratitude to their lives. Shelly?
Yes, yes. Good morning. Thank you, all of those who are looking at us live, those who are looking at the replay. As Karen said, we really do appreciate it. And today is one of those days when I guess we're really activating our gratitude to be here because gratitude is a commitment the same way we've decided, like Karen said, to show you that yes, you can get it done with gratitude. So I am a gratitude guide, and what I do is to help my clients develop that habit of gratitude, which would allow them to build resilience. Because when you're going after goals, things happen. When you have an
Hmm.
agenda in mind, things happen. How do you
Hmm.
approach it when things don't go according to plan? How do you keep yourself motivated? These are some of the questions that I help my clients answer by showing them gratitude really is the answer. What I say is gratitude is the strategy, it's the answer, it's probably part of the question, it's just the secret sauce to everything. And in today's discussion, we're moving on to looking at gratitude and relationships, but specifically the relationship with fathers. So, this is the month of June. Father's Day was Sunday gone for us here. And last week's session, we spoke about being grateful for fathers in our lives. And during that session, I realized that having a relationship with fathers is unique and it is faced with challenges. And one of the things that came out in that session was that, at least for both Karen and I, we have not always had, the greatest relationship with our fathers. So that had me thinking about how gratitude works in a situation like that. And I as I usually do, I started reading up on, relationship with fathers and different things. And it occurred to me that when it comes to relationships in general, gratitude is all about appreciating what exists.
Hmm.
And even when we don't have such a great relationship with our fathers, we can still appreciate something about the situation. And so that's what I want to talk about a little bit more today and, explore and really get Karen in on the conversation. And for all those who are listening, who are live, join the conversation too. If you're looking at the recording, tell us what you think about this whole idea of relationships with fathers. And I suppose the best place to start is thinking about what we think of that relationship with fathers in general, not specific to us, but um, with mothers, we get the idea and the understanding that there's, this nurturing and, mothers are the ones usually in the home and doing things with the children and so on. But then there are fathers, and in quite a number of cases, fathers are the ones who are working and providing and are not around as much as the mothers are. So what are your thoughts then on Karen on that relationship? What is I guess I could say what is a father's role? How do you see that?
Well, Shelley, I want to thank you first of all for calling me out because this is really an area that is not the easiest for me. I have not had the type of relationship with my dad that I've read about or seen other persons having, but it's always something that I wanted to have. And there came a juncture in my life when I actually consciously made a decision. And I don't know if that was really gratitude starting to step in, but I made a conscious decision that I was going to make an effort to reach out to my dad and to meet him wherever he was or wherever he is, that is where I was going to meet him. And what I can tell you is that in doing that, and I think part of that was me going on my personal growth journey, working with a coach. In doing that, there was a shift. I was able to actually let go of a lot of the hurt, a lot of the disappointment that I had encountered of not having a dad there to be with you, to do things with you, to show you things that you just expect in your mind that a dad would do. And so by meeting him wherever he was, it allowed me then to just start to appreciate what is, to appreciate what we did have, and to be able to tap into that. And so this was an area that I really had to work on, and it's still something that I continue to work on. This really called for me to shift into what I get to do and not what didn't happen, or to be just resentful of all those things. It really, really forced me to keep looking for all of the good things and the ways that I could make time and create memories based on this time that we have now. Create memories with my dad. And I've been able to do that. In some ways, he doesn't live here, so we have made it an effort. I've visited, and when he's here, we always intentionally spend quality time together. And I've really enjoyed that and had the conversation. So it's really been a journey for me, my relationship with dads. And I can understand how how gratitude really impacts that. So as I was listening to you, I was really thinking that gratitude that force, I didn't really want to use the word force, but it calls us to look for the best thing in that person and hold on to that. Don't look
Yeah.
then just at all of what is not happening or the negatives. Look at what is best. Try to empathize and relate to where they are, and by focusing on the present, you then get to see and to enjoy the moment as it is then. And over time, it has really been a blessing how we have been able to develop a different relationship and still have a relationship as a child and a parent, that I think that we both enjoy much more than we did in the years when we didn't have any connection. So I
Mhm.
shared that with you to kind of give you a synopsis on my journey and what it's been like, because for each of us, one of the things that we knew, what came out last week, is for each of us, everyone has a really, really different relationship with their dad. But
Yeah.
it's how do you
Yeah.
take that relationship and apply and use gratitude so that it is the most fulfilling thing for both of you. not for one and
Yes.
not for the other, but for both of you. How do we consciously make those choices? And I think when you say all the time, we talk about, we say it right, we say it loud, we say it always, the three fundamental principles of gratitude. Then when we do that, when we look for what is right, and when we say it out loud, and when we say it always, then that shift happens in our mindset because we bring in ourselves more and more to the present. So that's been
Yeah.
my journey. But thank you for really making me go in. Come on.
Well, I think it's powerful, you see, and I feel like relationships that are as significant as father child, parent child, they impact on us deeply as we grow and learn
That's
and
true.
become the people that we can be. And so, taking that look at it, someone looking at this video might get that connection and say, hey, these ladies aren't just speaking because everything is, perfect with them. They're speaking from experience and they're doing the work and they're getting it done with gratitude. So then I can do it too. And for me, that is like the ultimate goal and the ultimate purpose of our discussions every week. So that's I know, and even for me, when I think about like in my situation, both parents were in the home, but my dad, I, I guess workaholic is a good way to describe what my memory of him was when I was growing up, because for the most part, I I remember him leaving early for work, coming back late and always being busy. So much so that when I was younger, my idea of being an adult was being so busy that you didn't, you couldn't do things with your family. That's what my
Mm.
idea was, because of looking at my dad and the fact that he was always going, always doing something, always you know always getting into some business, always dealing with clients, always, and he had a full-time job besides that. And even when, transitioning from job to job, there was always something going on. And, while I'm saying that, I'm actually like, I'm picturing myself and realizing how much of an impact that had on me in terms of what I viewed success as and what I viewed being in a family as. And so that to me is like recognition of that, the impact of that relationship for me. And I had to step back and recognize that, for me, father, provider, but provider from a distance. And, so there wasn't that close relationship growing up because he
He
was the
wasn't there.
one. Yeah, so yeah, he was there in principle, but not there physically and
Yeah.
directly. And so, there was a distance for a long time. And like you, I made the conscious decision to meet him where he was and make the effort to build the relationship. And certainly in his later years as well, he also made that effort. And so, for birthdays, we would always, for his birthday, we would always go to his house. And for certain days in the year, we would always go there, as we were older. And so there's a certain amount of commitment and effort that has to go into
So
maintaining
true.
and building that relationship because
That
it's not
that
it's not natural.
yes, I agree with that.
And it might sound strange, but it really isn't just an automatic thing. It's something that we have to work on. And the
Mhm.
gratitude for me helps tremendously because we all have traits that aren't the best that we're working on. And so we have a tendency sometimes in relationships to notice in the other person what we don't like, and they always do this and that kind of thing. But recognizing that, hey,
Mhm.
this person is a human being just like me, finding their way just like me. Yes, they're older and they have more experience, life experiences, but they're still, this is the first time they are in this moment. So they're finding their way just as I am, first time in this moment as well. And one of the things you said just now that really hit home for me, you're grateful for the things you get to do and
Yes,
not
yes,
allowing yourself to spend too much time dwelling on the things that were not done.
yeah,
And that to me is like the most powerful point of gratitude in a relationship and how gratitude really supports relationships.
yeah. No, it has to be. As you were saying that just now, my mind drifted back to last year. We celebrated Dad's 85th birthday, and all of us were here. All my sister that lives down by you, my sister in Ottawa, all of us were together, and he had all of his daughters, and it was such a moment to just capture and to enjoy, and it really, really was good, and it was good in the sense that you could see the you can see the results of having put in the time to build that relationship, just like where you were and how you could just enjoy this time together. And I know that talking about it, people might say, well, that's easy for you to say, or that's okay for you, you got that done. Because this relationship with dads has so many different spectrums for so many different people.
Yeah.
And for those who don't have that father figure, don't have someone in their life, don't have a dad, or who lost their dad, it can be so difficult to find that little nugget to start to build the gratitude so that it grows. But you know what? Gratitude is like, you can liken it to a cacti. It starts as this little small thing, but then as the more you nurture it, it just grows and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And when you find that one thing that you can start with, and this is what it was, I think, for me. I just decided I would start with one thing, and that one thing was to reach out and to have a conversation. And that
Mhm.
one thing led to me, excuse me, sharing with my dad exactly how I felt, about how I felt all of those years when he was not there or when he chose not to be there, how it made me feel. Um, and to ask him and to hear his side of the story. Now, granted, I wasn't sure that I was really ready for that, so I'll just full caveat here, y'all. I wasn't sure that I was really ready for that, but I was just being intentional, and I had made it a
Yeah.
choice that I'm going to have this conversation, and wherever it goes, that's where we're going to go from there. We're going to put in a line in the sand and say, this is what it was. How am I going to create what it can be? And
Mhm.
even when then people are when you can so easily say, oh, but remember he did do this or remember he did do that. I always consciously now say, yes, but look at what we are doing now. So let's not
Yes.
try to look back there. And so even though it is difficult, even though right now you may be sitting somewhere, you may be listening to our voices and saying, how the hell am I going to get done what they are talking about? Remember this. You only have to start with one little thing. Maybe it's writing a note. Maybe you can't bring yourself to have the conversation. Maybe it's writing a note. Maybe it is writing a letter to your dad. Sometimes the mere act of writing it all out can be so cathartic. So maybe writing it
Absolutely.
is good. And whether your dad is present, and this can be applied to any relationship, whether it is that the person is present or not, whether you have that relationship with your dad or whether your dad is no longer with you or whatever, you can still write the letter because it's
Mhm.
about you.
Mhm.
It's about you being able to let go and then get into that place of gratitude where you're like feeling better about everything. So it's really about just finding that one little thing. It's coming back to that. So, write the letter, think more about the positive things. There must be at least one little thing that you felt good about, that had a good emotion, that brought up a good emotion, and relish those times. Really just bask in those times, because then that All of that helps. All of that helps to make the difference. And gradually, as you focus on that, you're going to feel and sense the shift because you're
Mhm. Mhm.
transitioning then into being more in a place and a space of gratitude. So it
Yeah,
does take intentional effort. It does take work. I'm not going
definitely.
to kid you. I'm not going to kid you. Relationships, all relationships is about work. We have to make
Mhm.
that choice that we want to make it work. We get to make that decision. And it's just
Yep.
about how we choose to show up that's going to really make the difference. So we can choose to show up in a positive way. We can choose to show up looking for the good, looking for the happy moments, looking for the ways that we can relate to this person, or we could choose not to. The choice is really ours. But what we are
Yep.
saying is choose to do it with gratitude, and it will
Yep.
make a difference.
And the thing is, even when there's a point where you decide, you know what, this relationship is toxic. I'm not interested in moving forward with this relationship. If that's the situation, because it can happen, it's not going to be possible every time when you reach out to someone, they reciprocate and they make the effort as well. Some people
Hmm.
don't. So there is that possibility, but that still does not give it doesn't make holding on to the negativity or the distress any healthier. That is still going to be a negative impact on our lives if we hold on to it. So sometimes it might mean writing that letter that perhaps never gets mailed, or just i I did this activity once, and I know it's something that is done, certain forms of therapy and coaching, where you write the letter, let it all out, and then you burn it so that
Oh,
it
yes, yes.
yes, so you get that release from expression. So even if it comes to a situation like that, whether that is no longer around to even reach out to, or is not a situation you want to go back to, you can still release yourself from the baggage that is holding you
Absolutely.
back and all the weight, and be able to have that positivity and look at the relationship for what it is. It perhaps didn't create the best, but um now you have a choice looking at it, whether you want to carry the whole thing with you on your shoulders, weighing you down, or whether you want to release it and appreciate what there is to appreciate, and then move on from the rest. So it's really about that, recognizing that, some things we have control over, some things we don't. We act on the things that we have control over, which is our attitude, our decisions, and what we do next with relationships.
And that is so true. When you said weighing you down, two things came to mind that we are carrying this weight and that is affecting all of the decisions and the choices that we are making. And that when we are stuck in that place, then we are not focused on all of the wonderful possibilities and the truest potential of who we are as a person. Because you also mentioned, and I think that this is very important, we are responsible for us. We can make the change about us. You may want to make a change, but like Shelley just mentioned, if someone is not in that place, if they haven't reached that emotional space or whatever else is going on with them, if they are just not there and able or willing to make it, you can't make them. And you have to make peace with that and be good for that. But because they are not able, or because they are not willing to at the time when you are ready, it doesn't mean that you don't get to do it, that you don't get to let go and to release that. It doesn't mean that you don't get to step up and just be in a place of gratitude, because you can then say, I see that you are not ready. When you are, we can have this conversation. And that's a totally different thing than just saying, man, I want to talk to you about this and this is how you getting on kind of thing and carrying it down a different road. You don't have to, we don't need to go there. And I think that is what we're all saying about gratitude. We don't need to stay in the space where it's not working for us. And by practicing the gratitude, by releasing, by letting go, we are starting to make that shift. And I think that those are
Mhm.
some of the things that we really need to hold on to and to see how can we intentionally make all of our relationships better, richer, fuller. And what we are saying is that when you say it right, say it loud, say it always, you absolutely can. Because when you are looking for the positive, when you are seeking out that good
Yes.
in others, that's what's coming back at you. It's really going to ricochet right back to you because you are not focusing it, so you're going to eventually bring others along. I don't know if I was rambling there a little bit, but those were a lot of thoughts were coming into my head
Yes.
at the
No,
same
but it's
time.
a lot. It's a lot. And I was really trying to contain myself not to interrupt because, you're saying things that I agree with, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. We don't have to stay in the place of negativity. And, when we um try to punish others by hurting ourselves, because that's what it is essentially, it it doesn't work out well for anybody, most of all ourselves. So this is where the concept of forgiveness and gratitude comes in, and that's a
Yeah,
whole conversation by
it
itself. But we some people think that, okay, if I forgive you, I let you off the hook. Forgiveness doesn't
yes,
release someone from consequences. And forgiving someone doesn't mean that you have to let them in your life. You can forgive and love people from a distance. And sometimes it's necessary for all concerned that we love and forgive people from a distance. So
yeah,
that's why I mentioned, it's not that we're saying, all right, regardless of what happened in the past, you have to appreciate now and go into situations that are unhealthy. You don't have to do that, but you also don't have to carry around the negativity of the past relationship with you consistently all the time. You can release that too. And that's the beauty of gratitude, how it helps you get unstuck.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? The I started earlier by saying, "Oh, we're outside and we're bracing for Brett. Brett has arrived." I mean,
Oh,
Shelley,
wow.
the sky that you saw when we first joined, doesn't exist
Oh, my
anymore.
goodness.
No, it's like I'm just looking in front of me and like, wait, there's no blue sky. It's totally
Yeah, but
gray. The
what
rain
happened
is
to the
down.
blue sky?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
I
Oh,
think
wow.
that it's such a wonderful place for us to wrap this morning is on the element of forgiveness because sometimes we blame ourselves for the relationships that we have or that we do not have. And I really, really think that being able to forgive ourselves, being able to release that and let it go is such an important step that you can take both for you and for anyone else. So, Shelley, I'll give you the closing words, but I really love and I agree with you. Forgiveness and gratitude is one we definitely have to take up.
Yes, most definitely. I agree. So, well, to close off, what I'd like to say is that relationships take effort, and relationships with fathers in particular, because they are parent figures in our lives, those relationships with parents and significant older adults as we're growing up and developing, they impact on us. So we do need to make the effort to assess the relationship, see what's happening. Is it where it could be? Is it where we want it to be? Can it go anywhere? And then making the commitment and the effort to address it and deal with it and make it better if it can be, or release it if it can't for whatever reason at any particular
So
point
true.
in time.
Yeah.
So these are the ways that gratitude influences our lives and makes it possible for us to move from where we are to the better places that we would like to be while enjoying the entire process of everything. So, this is how you get it done with gratitude, guys. And that's all we're saying. So, we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day today. And Karen and everybody else in Barbados and environs, please be safe,
Thank
take
you.
care of yourselves. Okay, bye bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.